Hey, I'm Alex Randall. I'm the Academic Advice Manager in the Student Advice Centre at LUU. Last year I wrote the student written submission for the QAA audit at Leeds University, and we used the NSS to inform a lot of that. It was really useful because we felt that in presenting a view of the student experience at Leeds for the QAA, we were taking it directly from students themselves, so it gave the report more legitimacy. And it was useful because a lot of what the university put in their report reflected the points raised by the NSS that were included in our report. It also gave us a useful place to start, for example, focus groups, and find more qualitative opinions and so on from students for the report, so it was very useful in that respect.
Hello, my name is Carys Jones. I'm the Representation Coordinator at Leeds University Union. I used the NSS this year to inform the work that my faculty level representatives were doing. They used it in two separate tasks. The first task related to receiving the initial data relating to their faculty. They were then asked to analyse the results and prepare a briefing paper that was sent to their dean of their school. They then met with the dean and a member of the student executive to go through the paper to address issues that were raised in it. On a second task, they looked into assessment and feedback within their faculty using the NSS data, information they got from course reps, and examples of good and bad feedback to write a report that was then submitted to the Faculty Learning and Teaching Committee to highlight issues. These reports then enabled the faculty level reps to work with their departments to influence and inform action plans that were being put together in the individual departments as to how to improve academic feedback for all students. So that's a very clear result that we saw from that, and really enabled the student reps to feel like they had input.
Hi, I'm Nash. I'm the Education Officer at Leeds University Union. I've used NSS throughout my year in office. Institutionally, I use NSS to bring about change across the university. In the summer, we got the NSS results and we analysed them. We broke it down to faculty and school level, but I looked at the NSS from an institutional point and looked at what common trends were coming out, what students were saying were their main concerns, and what kind of detailed comments we could use to inform some of our reports or some of the changes that we wanted to bring about in the university. The two key areas that I focused my campaigns on as a result of the NSS data were feedback and personal tutoring. As many institutions have found, feedback and assessment is an area where NSS scores are quite low across the board. We took the feedback results to our university and questioned them on where they were performing well and where they weren't performing well. We looked at what solutions we could come up with the university on and how we could better promote feedback practices that were working in some schools across the board. So we looked at kind of performance and used data from previous years and the year I was in office. Then later on in the year we did a feedback campaign based on the NUS's feedback amnesty. We got examples of poor feedback and good feedback and fed them back into the university to improve the structures. The second campaign that really was informed by NSS data was the personal tutoring. And the University of Leeds were quite good and quite honest about how they needed to improve both feedback and personal tutoring. So we sat down and we discussed a new personal tutoring model and how this would be rolled out within the university in the coming year, looking at what personal tutoring was for, how students could get the most out of personal tutoring, and what resources both students and staff needed to make personal tutoring meetings more productive. Part of this campaign, we did a I Love My Personal Tutor award ceremony, and this was an opportunity for students to comment and to award those personal tutors that they felt had made a real difference to their time at university. Tutors were nominated from across the university. We had a lot of responses and some really positive comments about how personal tutors can help in academic development, and that was really informed by the NSS, that whole two key areas of campaigning work. So how do we communicate change to students? This year the university and the union worked on a promotional scheme where we tried to communicate what changes had happened as a result of the student feedback through the NSS. The university developed action plans within each school talking about how each school was going to respond to the concerns the student raised in the NSS. These action plans came together at an LTB meeting, our academic board, and we looked over them and scrutinised them and made sure that the language was student friendly. We developed a website where students could go along and really engage in what their school were doing in terms of responding to their NSS feedback. This website has had loads of hits from students because the university and the union have promoted it, and it's also given students a further opportunity to play a role in developing change in their department and comment on what they want to see happen in some. I believe the NSS is a really important tool for students, and I would encourage students' unions and students to fill out the NSS. I think it's really important for people to be able to develop their learning experience and to have a real impact on the student experience at their university. The NSS has made major changes at Leeds University, and we've been given an increased voice in developing both positive changes but highlighting bad practice. The NSS is a great tool for students' unions to play a bigger role in developing good practices for their students in their departments, and I would encourage students' unions to participate in NSS promotional work.